Hello guys, welcome to the Ship Color Palette. Today, we'll be talking about Rosekiller. Intro. This is a ship pairing of Evan Rosier and Barty Crouch Jr. A small disclaimer before we started, as both characters do not really have too much facts on their history in canon, so we will be doing a lot of assumption that I will try to make sure that it is as canon as possible. Let's get started. Evan Rosier is a Slytherin. The age of his is not specifically told out in the book, but in the fifth book, Sirius had said that Snape was with a gang of group which nearly all turned out to be Death Eaters, and one of them is Evan Rosier. So I think it's safe to say that he is about the same age as Severus Snape. Barty Crouch Jr. is not canonly stated which house he was in, and there were two lore in this that he is either Slytherin or Ravenclaw, but all of these are still just based on fanon. To be frank, Barty Crouch Jr. actually have all the traits from all four houses, so he could be either. He is 2 years younger than Severus Snape. Evan Rosier isn't actually his first name, so if we're based on the books as his name was not actually stated, the Evan name was stated being dead after going into a fight with Alistair Moody for being arrested. And that is before Igor Karkaroff's trial. Sirius has stated before that the Rosier that were friends with Snape was actually killed before Voldemort's downfall, and as we all know that Igor Karkaroff's trial was set after Voldemort's downfall, it's safe to say that this both Rosier is not the same Rosier. So the Evan name was actually the father but not the son. But most people would say that the author might have mixed up the timeline and would still use the name Evan for the son. So in this intro, Evan Rosier was a pure-blood wizard and a Slytherin Death Eater during the First Wizarding War, and is known in the Harry Potter canon for his loyalty to Voldemort and for severing a significant part of Alistair Mad-Eye Moody's nose before getting killed in 1980 or 1981. Barty Crouch Jr. was born into a pureblood family. His father had said that he was academically gifted and got 12 L's. From young, he was neglected by his high-ranking ministry father, Barty Crouch Sr., and it drives him to seek a father figure in Lord Voldemort. He then became a loyal Death Eater in his teenage years. After the downfall of Voldemort in the trial of Igor Karkaroff, he was exposed and sent to Azkaban after confirming he, the Lestrange twins, and Bellatrix were the one that tortured the Longbottoms into insanity by his own father. However, his dying mother persuaded his father to break him out. She swapped places with him, dying in Azkaban disguised as her son, while Barty Jr. lived under his father's Imperious curse, controlled and hidden in their home. In the Goblet of Fire, with the assistance of Voldemort and Wormtail, who learned that he was alive, Crouch Jr. broke free from his father's control and in turn using Imperious curse on his father. He then kidnapped Alistair Mad-Eye Moody, taking his place at Hogwarts and steal his hair for Polyjuice Potion, replacing him, successfully fooling everyone else. He entered Harry Potter's name into the Goblet of Fire and ensuring Harry reached the Triwizard Cup, which he had turned it into a portkey to transport Harry to Voldemort. In the meantime, when his father started fighting off the curse, he killed him and transfigured him into a bone in the Forbidden Forest. His disguise was exposed after Harry returned from the graveyard. Before he could testify, Minister of Magic Cornelius Fudge allowed a Death Eater to give Crouch the Dementor's kiss, destroying his soul. What is Rosekiller? Rosekiller is one of the fan and most liked Marauders era ship. In the 2025 January to December top 100 list, it is on the 47th place, though it didn't really make it in 2025 all-time top 100. It did had a rapidly grown popularity within the Harry Potter fandom, breaking into the AO3 top 100 ship list in 2023, ranking 33rd and 34th in 2024. Rosekiller is a combination of the last name of Rosie's surname and Killer, representing Barty Crouch Jr., who is known for his villainous action and killing his own father. Well, this ship is often portrayed in fanfiction within a non-canonical dark or edgy context as Death Eater contemporaries. There is also a very uncommon name that is called Bartion, and it is the first name combination of the two characters. When did Rosekiller happen? Well, according to fanlore, the first fanfic pairing them is called Untitled, was posted on AO3 on May 25th, 2013 by Erotic Incubi, and the pairing remained obscure, with the next notable fic not appearing until April 2021. The fandom began to grow significantly in the early 2020s, particularly around late 2021 and 2022, driven by Marauders talk in TikTok and the popularity of Jugglers fanfiction. While a rare pair, the ship gained a widespread popularity, moving from obscure to mainstream in the Marauders fandom within these periods. Why did Rosekiller happen? As this fan-made ship, like many other minor Marauder era character, was started because fans have the desire for creative freedom with minor characters, popular fan casts, and a need for Slytherin-centric ships. So in this, we will be focusing on why this ship has gained a rise on its popularity in the 2020s. First of all, creative freedom and canon void. Because Evan Rosier is only mentioned as deceased and Barty Crouch Jr. has a limited role, so creators have total freedom to create personalities and dynamics for them. Slytherin gang obsession. Rosekiller fits into the popular fan-created Slytherin gang, often included Regulus Black, fueling narratives about the dark side of the First War. The dead gay wizard trend. Rosekiller is a popular part of the broader Marauders fandom trend of reimagining 1970s Slytherin and dark characters as complex queer romantic figures. Character compatibility. Fans often pair them based on a sharing insanity, or, as often depicted, an intense devoted relationship amidst darkness of First Wizarding War. Visual storytelling and fan words. The ship is popular on social media platforms like TikTok, where fan edits and fan arts have made the pairing a visual iconic, viral staple of the Marauders era. Tropes. Us against the world. They are often depicted as a tight unit within the Slytherin gang, along with Regulus Black. Mutual pinning, possessiveness, intense, almost crazed devotion to one another. Dark romance, seduction. Exploring the devotion to Voldemort alongside their devotion to each other. I can fix him, or I can make him worse, often involving the chaos-driven Barty and the equally intense Rosier. Tragic before the fall. Stories that focus on their close friendship slash romance before Rosier's inevitable death. Thoughts. From a reader perspective, these two characters, aside from their little history events, they don't really have anything to spare for fans. They don't really seem to have any connection, as we are not quite sure what house Barty was supposed to be, other than both were Death Eaters and devoted to their Dark Lord. This ship is already somewhat OC, They don't really have much personality. When I mean they, I mean Evan Rosier. And most of the fanfic writers would just make up their own personality, well, for the trope's sake. Are they even still the character they were supposed to be in a canon? Maybe just a bit. But if you want to just read the fan fictions, well, I would think that they are their own characters more than they are from the canon. And even to change the name from the fanfic story, they would still work. I don't know, but I do know that Rosekiller exists. It has been around sometimes, but I don't really read this ship before. So the most that I could go with this ship, even if I really, really need to give them a reason to work out, I think it would be the fact that they are both devoted to Voldy, even if it was not for the same reason. Now it's time for the ship color palette. I have some thoughts on this. Like I said, if I want this ship to actually work out, it would be based on their devotion for Voldemort. But their devotion are not quite the same. As we don't know why Evan Rosier was a Death Eater in the first place, I would assume that it was because he is a Slytherin pureblood. It was because that his father was also loyal to this cause. As for Barty Crouch, from what we can see in the books, he has daddy issues. That's why he was devoted to Voldemort, because Voldemort appreciates him. When he started to become a Death Eater, I think it's because he wanted to find a purpose in life that someone would see him. I don't know if that makes sense for you guys, but it makes sense to me that I would put them in poor. The reason for why it's poor, like I said, Barty Crouch, when he could, he would try to make Voldemort proud, as he had seen him as the father figure that he don't really have. He's tried to do the similar thing as his father figure, Voldemort. So he tried to kill his own father. He killed his own father, just like Voldemort. So I think that he is somewhat obsessive in wanting to make Voldemort proud. Let's just say if they did get together, this thing would definitely be an issue, because in the romantic perspective, Barty would never put Evan Rosier in the first place, even if they are together. The first place would always be Lord Voldemort. It would become a bit like Bellatrix Lestrange and Rodolphus Lestrange. There's always one that doesn't seem to care about this relationship, but more devoted on the Lord. I think in that kind of perspective, I don't think that this would work well. This relationship would work well. I would say that it worked quite poorly. There's just maybe a little of chances that they would get together. Maybe. Okay, I think that's it. The tip for the next ship. This next ship is a non-canon ship, and this ship contains two people with an age gap, and both characters are, I would say, equally important to the series. And that's all. So if you guys like my video, please put a thumbs up, subscribe, and put on the notification for our next video. Thank you guys for watching.